another book, and this time we're reading Thank You, Amu by Mora. And there's a little note to the reader that the word Amu, O-M-U, is pronounced A-mu and is the Igbo term for queen. This title is published by Little, Brown and Company, based mainly in New York and Boston. On the corner of First Street and Long Street, on the very top floor, Amu was cooking a thick red stew in a big fat pot for a nice evening meal. She seasoned it and stirred it and took a little taste. "What a delicious stew," Amu said. "Tonight's dinner will surely be the best I have ever had." Ooh, that smell is wafting into the town. I don't think I could live there without trying that stew. With that, Amu put down her spoon and went to read a book before supper. As the thick red stew simmered on the stove, its scrumptious scent wafted out the window and out the door, down the hall, towards the street, and around the block until, knock! Someone was at the door. When Amu opened it, she saw a little boy. "Little boy!" Amu exclaimed. "What brings you to my home?" "I was playing with my race car down the hall when I smelled the most delicious smell," the little boy replied. "What is it?" "Thick red stew." Stew," he sighed. "That sure sounds yummy." Man, he has a cool red car right there. I totally want to play with it. Amu thought for a moment. She was saving her stew for dinner, but she had made quite a bit. It would not hurt to share. "Would you like some?" The little boy nodded, and so Amu spooned out some thick red stew from the big fat pot for her nice evening meal. "Thank you, Amu," the little boy said, and went on his way. With that, Amu closed the door and went back to her book. As she read, her thick red stew's scrumptious scent wafted out the window, out the door, down the hall, towards the street, and around the block until, knock, knock! Someone was at the door. When Amu opened the door this time, she saw a police officer. "Miss Police Officer!" Amu exclaimed. "What brings you to my home?" "I was on duty down the street when I smelled the most delicious smell," Miss Police Officer replied. "What is it?" "Thick red stew." "Oh, stew!" she said, her mouth watered. "That sounds mighty tasty." Amu thought for a moment. There was still enough to share. "Would you like some?" The police officer nodded. Once again, Amu spooned out some thick red stew from the big fat pot for her nice evening meal. "Thank you, Amu," the officer said, and went on her way. And so, for the second time, Amu closed the door and went back to her book. Sure enough, as she read, her thick red stew's scrumptious scent wafted out the window, out the door, down the hall, towards the street, and around the block until, knock, knock, knock. Again, someone was at Amu's door. This time, when she opened it, she saw a hot dog vendor. "Mr. Hot Dog Vendor!" Amu exclaimed. "What brings you to my home?" "I was selling my hot dogs down the block when I smelled the most delicious smell," Mr. Hot Dog Vendor replied. "What is it?" "Thick red stew." "Ooh, stew! That sounds quite delectable." The vendor licked his lips. So Amu spooned out some thick red stew from the big fat pot for her nice evening meal. "Thank you, Amu," the hot dog vendor said, and went on his way. Throughout the day, the people from all across the neighborhood knocked on Amu's door. She fed a shop owner, a cab driver, a doctor, an actor, a lawyer, a dancer, a baker, an artist, a singer, an athlete, a bus driver, a construction worker. Even the mayor stopped by. And each time they knocked, Amu shared. Soon, the sky darkened. The streetlights brightened, and it was finally time for dinner. But when Amu opened her big fat pot of thick red stew for her nice evening meal, guys, the pot is empty. Amu sniffled. "There goes the best dinner I ever had." Sorry and blue, she sat at the table with her empty pot until... Knock, 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 knock. What could that be? Or who could that be, sorry? Wondered. Once she opened her door, she saw the little boy, the police officer, the hot dog vendor, the shop owner, the cab driver, the doctor, the actor, the lawyer, the dancer, the baker. Why, everyone she fed today was at her door. "I'm sorry, everyone," Amu sighed. "My thick red stew is all gone. I have nothing left to share." The little boy tugged at Amu's sleeve. "Don't worry, Amu. We are not here to ask. We are here to give." The police officer carried in a fresh salad. The mayor entered with a roast chicken. The baker brought a collection of sweet goodies. Even the little boy presented Amu with something special in a shiny red envelope. Everyone who knocked on Amu's door that day squeezed into that tiny apartment, and together they ate and danced and celebrated. While Amu's big fat pot of thick red stew was empty, her heart was full of happiness and love. That dinner was the best she had ever had. Thank you, Amu. So we have an author's note. I don't know why I keep having to read these, but they're so great. In Igbo, the Nigerian language of my parents, Amu means queen. Yet for me, growing up, it meant grandma. When my grandmother cooked, she danced and swayed her hips to the radio as she stirred what was often a large pot of stew. In the evening, my family would come together at the dinner table for her meal. If a neighbor was visiting, they were invited. If a friend had stopped by, they were invited. Everyone in the community had a seat at my grandmother's table. While my grandmother has passed away, her giving heart has stayed with me. I see it in my mother, my godmother, my teachers, my mentors, and other countless powerful women who have shaped my life. This book is a celebration of their loving, giving spirit. Thank you. Well, I hope that you guys enjoyed this title. It was a very great one, and just remain thankful for, all that you guys have. Don't forget to thank our police officers, our construction workers, all those people who work tirelessly, healthcare workers, everyone who's made an impact in your life, your parents, caregivers, your siblings, your friends. Just take the time to thank them in some way. It could even just be a smile or a thank you note or a thank you in word form, or maybe a song and a dance, whatever you want to do, as long as you make sure that you express gratitude. Because you guys are awesome and so are they. So have a great day.